Hello and welcome to our channel. In this video we are counting down top 10 films based on true stories from recent years. Those who enjoy films based on true stories must give it a try and leave a comment below how many films you have already seen from this list or intend to see. Now let's get started. 10. Steve Jobs, 2015. Directed by Danny Boyle with public anticipation running high. Apple Incorporated co-founder Steve Jobs, Michael Fassbender, and Steve Wozniak get ready to unveil the first Macintosh in 1984. Jobs must also deal with personal issues related to ex-girlfriend Chris Ann Brennan and their young daughter Lisa. Eventually fired, Jobs launches Next Incorporated and prepares to release a new computer model in 1988. 10 years later, Jobs is back at Apple Incorporated and about to revolutionize the industry once again with the iMac. 9. Too Big to Fail, 2011, available on HBO. Directed by Curtis Hanson. The inside story of how Wall Street and Washington fought to save the financial system and themselves after leaving his top job at Goldman Sachs. Henry Paulson, the Secretary of Treasury, tries to tackle the problems that arose during the global economic meltdown. 8. Game Change, 2012, available on HBO. Directed by Jay Roach. John McCain's 2008 U.S. presidential campaign struggles to compete against Democratic Senator Obama. The game changes when strategists choose Alaska's Governor Palin as his vice presidential candidate. A cracking political drama about the true story of the meteoric rise to notoriety by Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. 7. Warm Springs, 2005, available on HBO. Directed by Joseph Sargent. After polio threatens his political career in the early 1920s, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Kenneth Branagh, desperately searches for a cure to his newly acquired disease, hoping to regain the use of his legs. He learns of a promising spa in Warm Springs, Georgia, and travels there, only to find it dilapidated. Determined to overcome polio, Roosevelt invests in the spa's revitalization and sets about recovering, aided by the support of his wife, Cynthia Nixon, and physical therapist, Kathy Bates. 6. Freedom Riders, 2007, directed by Richard LaGravenese. A dedicated teacher, Hilary Swank, in a racially divided Los Angeles school has a class of at-risk teenagers deemed incapable of learning. Instead of giving up, she inspires her students to take an interest in their education and planning their future. She assigns reading material that relates to their lives and encourages them all to keep journals. 5. October Sky, 1999, directed by Joe Johnston. John Hickam, Chris Cooper, is a West Virginia coal miner who loves his job and expects his sons, Jim, Scott Miles, and Homer, Jake Gyllenhaal, to follow in his footsteps. But Jim gets a football scholarship, and Homer becomes interested in rocket science after seeing Sputnik 1 crossing the sky. John disapproves of his son's new mania, but Homer begins building rockets with the help of friends and a sympathetic teacher, Laura Dern. Rocketry, he hopes, will prove his ticket to a better life. 4. The Social Network, 2010, available on Netflix. Directed by David Fincher. In 2003, Harvard undergrad and computer genius Mark Zuckerberg, Jesse Eisenberg, begins work on a new concept that eventually turns into the global social network known as Facebook. 6 years later, he is one of the youngest billionaires ever, but Zuckerberg finds that his unprecedented success leads to both personal and legal complications when he ends up on the receiving end of 2 lawsuits, one involving his former friend, Andrew Garfield. Based on the book, The Accidental Billionaires. 3. The Imitation Game, 2014, directed by Morton Tildum. In 1939, newly created British intelligence agency MI6 recruits Cambridge mathematics alumnus Alan Turing, Benedict Cumberbatch, to crack Nazi codes, including Enigma, which cryptanalysts had thought unbreakable. Turing's team, including Joan Clark, Keira Knightley, analyze Enigma messages while he builds a machine to decipher them. Turing and team finally succeed and become heroes, but in 1952, the quiet genius encounters disgrace when authorities reveal he is gay and send him to prison. 2. Something the Lord Made, 2004, available on HBO. Directed by Joseph Sargent. Although Vivian Thomas, Mos Def, a black man in the 1930s, is originally hired as a janitor. He proves himself adept at assisting the Blue Baby doctor, Alfred Blaylock, Alan Rickman, with his medical research. When Blaylock insists that Thomas follow him to Johns Hopkins University, they must find a way to skirt a racist system to continue their study of infant heart disease. Thomas is indispensable to Blaylock's progress, but Blaylock is the only one who is allowed to receive the acclaim. 1. A Beautiful Mind, 2001, directed by Ron Howard, a human drama inspired by events in the life of John Forbes Nash Jr., and in part based on the biography A Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nassar. From the heights of notoriety to the depths of depravity, John Forbes Nash Jr. experienced it all. A mathematical genius, he made an astonishing discovery early in his career and stood on the brink of international acclaim. But the handsome and arrogant Nash soon found himself on a painful and harrowing journey of self-discovery. So that was the list, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching our 10 films based on true stories. For more updates, make sure you subscribe to our channel. The handle is right in front of you.